Hey Mena Warriors, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm chatting about how to get through the festive season without getting to January feeling like you've put on a whole load of weight. And you're going to find it's a lot easier and actually much more pleasurable than you think it is. So welcome to my channel. My name's Kate Hartley and I share a weekly video with you every Monday around something related to menopause. If you've got anything you'd like me to cover in a future episode, please either drop me a comment or send me a message and I would love to include that in the rotation of videos that I share with you. So diving into today's video, it is hectic out there. There's a lot of stress in your life, probably out there politically, economically, environmentally, and all of that has this effect where we almost like dive into food and drink as it's also a salvation because it is where we draw comfort. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. When you're a child, if you bumped your head or you broke the skin on your knee, it's highly likely you were rewarded with a sweet or a little bit of cake or something sweet that you could eat by your caregiver because they wanted to show how much they love you and it would help distract you from the hurt that you were currently feeling. And in the vast majority of cases, we have all experienced that. So that often lingers underneath the surface too. So when we're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, super stressed, what do? We turn to the food and drink that is probably not going to serve us incredibly well. Right. This is the time of the year when you're allowed to splurge. I don't want you to think, oh my God, there's going to be no enjoyment at all. This, out of all of the times of the year, if you want to eat more desserts and you want to have more glasses of champagne or whatever it might be, I say bloody do it. But just know that with a few simple tweaks too, you can still enjoy your treats and have your splurges, but also get to January feeling like you've had some fun. You probably maintained your results. You may not have lost weight if that is one of your goals, but actually you can still lose the extra pounds if that is a goal of yours. And I'm going to give you a few tips today to help you do that. So one of my first tips is to know what are your goals. Because if you have a goal in mind, if you're just wanted to relax and have fun during the party season, go ahead and do it. If you don't want to stray too far from your healthy weight goal, if you've been working towards it all year, it's daft to let it slip in just a few weeks because then it's also much more difficult to get back on track. So I would really focus on what your goals are and also not see it as being deprived if you're saying no to like the second serving of pudding, because ultimately you want to keep your goals in mind. What is going to give you more pleasure? Getting to January feeling pretty lean and strong still, or get to January just feeling like you've let it all slip and you feel guilty and you feel like disappointed and you feel sluggish and you've got all those sugar cravings that come back. So do be mindful of what your goals are. And when you know what your goals are and you're clear about them, that will help sort of steady the ship when the temptations come calling. One thing I would just say, if the temptations come calling, just enjoy them and then get back on track the next day. We tend to have an all or nothing mindset. So, one day it slips and then the next day it's just like, oh, well, yesterday I messed up. So I'm just going to let it slip again today. And then the next day and the next day and the next day, because food is not just calories. It sends chemical messages all around the body. It's like a little science experiment. Whenever you eat or drink something, you set off a range of different chemical reactions within your body. So it's not just like eating the cookies. The cookies then set off a chain of chemical reactions within your body, which make it more difficult to resist the cookies the next time you're confronted with them. So be mindful of that. And again, it's not about saying don't eat them. It's just if you do, just be aware that you're probably going to want to have a protein-packed meal shortly afterwards because the protein is going to help mitigate the sugary crash that you're going to have after eating the sweet treat. My next tip is mindful eating. Slow it down a bit because I think we tend to be so busy at this time of the year that we just tend to gobble our food. Even if we're at parties, you're chatting to people and it's almost like, oh, I better quickly eat this before I chat again, because I don't know about you, I tend to be the last one to finish my plate at parties because I like to chat to people and then I feel like I'm just eating it to clear the plate rather than actually enjoying the meal itself. So be mindful of that. If you're no longer hungry or if you no longer have a desire to finish the plate, just leave it as it is. You're going to offend nobody if you don't clear the whole plate off. I think we're so conditioned to finish your plate. I certainly, as a child, that's exactly how I grew up. It's like you can't go out and play until you've finished your plate. And, there is some sense in that. But also it does set us up for this like, oh, I better finish it all off before I go and enjoy myself. And that carries on into our adult life. It's just one of those subconscious behaviors that we have. It's like wanting to have the comfort foods when we feel sad or we've hurt ourselves. My next tip is to drink water before your meal. So you might not want to drink water immediately before your meal because it might actually fill you up too much, so you don't want to eat. But I would drink a good sized glass, maybe 16 fluid ounces of water, half an hour before you have your meal. It's not going to dilute the stomach acids to any great extent. There are so many people that go, oh, you shouldn't drink water before you eat your meal because it's going to dilute your stomach acids. You have to drink so much water for it actually to have a negative impact on the stomach acids in your gut. Drinking water before your meal is one of the mainstays of one of the nutritional systems that I follow. It works incredibly well. The vast majority of us are dehydrated in any case. When your body is dehydrated, you actually cannot shed fat effectively. It sets up this chemical reaction within the body. So drinking plenty of water, yes, it's going to fill you up a little bit, but it's actually going to aid the digestive process. And it's also going to be hydrating you in a way that's going to be beneficial for you. If you're out partying or, you've got friends around and you're drinking alcoholic drinks, have a large glass of water before it kicks off. And then every alcoholic drink, if you can, drink another glass of water. And maybe even sort of have this little pact with yourself that by the third glass of wine or third glass of beer, or whatever your strategy is, then after that you're going to stop. You're going to have two glasses of water and then see, do you really feel like going back to have another drink? Because I don't know about you, if I'm ever out at like an event or something, they never have enough water on the table. And sometimes I end up drinking wine because I'm thirsty, and I know that's all completely back to front. But because I'm wanting to drink something, but there's no water there. And I find that really frustrating when I go out to events. So maybe if you're out and about, maybe even take a small bottle of water if you can do in your handbag, or just make sure that you order plenty of water on the table so that when the conversations start and things kick off, you're not the one going to the bar or trying to catch somebody's attention to go and get the jug of water brought, because we don't, do we? You're in the middle of a conversation and somebody says, would you like another glass of wine? Or they pour you another glass of wine and then you just drink it without even really thinking about it. Whereas if the water's there, you're going to be more tempted to have more water. So again, if you can just alternate your glasses of alcohol with a glass of water, you'll feel so much better in the morning, you'll sleep better. And that will also have a positive impact on your food choices the following day. If it all goes to pot and you end up drinking way more and you wake up with the baddest hangover ever, we've all been there, done it. Well, certainly I have a few times, far more times than I'd like to admit. A great way of helping you feel a little bit better is having a glass of warm water with some lemon juice, a little bit of Himalayan or good quality rock salt, and that's going to help to reestablish the electrolytes in your body. If you can manage it, some fresh ginger in there would also be really beneficial for you. Or peppermint tea. Peppermint tea is really good for your digestive system. One thing that I have, if I've ever overdone it, or if I've got an upset tummy, for instance, is bentonite clay. Bentonite clay, it is like fine clay. It has a really healthy and calming, soothing effect on your stomach. Now, I know a lot of us will take the antacids. They're actually not doing you much good long term. In an ideal world, I would say don't touch antacids. Antacids aren't getting to the root cause of the problem. They're just masking the problem. They're dealing with the symptom rather than the cause. So things like bentonite clay are a much healthier version of an antacid. Bentonite clay also draws out heavy metals, so toxins from your body, because we all have them, because of exhaust fumes, heavy metals in our water supply, stuff we're breathing in. If you deal with lead paints or you have dealt with lead paints, everything like that has a negative impact on us. Pesticides. Bentonite clay actually helps to pull that out of the body. So I think as a matter of course, I try and do bentonite clay maybe just like once a month, just as a cleansing drink. It is a bit clayey when you put your water in first and then put some bentonite clay and swirl it around with a plastic spoon. Don't use metal. The negative ions in the clay can actually react to the metal. So keep it with a glass container, maybe a plastic fork or spoon or something, and then let it sit. You could always put it in a shaker mug if it's a plastic shaker mug. Let it sit for a while, probably 20-30 minutes, so that the clay can absorb some of the water. And then if it's in a shaker cup, give it a really, really good shake, or if not, give it a really good stir around, and then you just neck it. But that will have a really soothing effect and cleansing effect on your body. And if you've got an upset tummy or you're feeling a bit shabby because you overdid it on the booze, that bentonite clay water is really, really nice. I would put 1 to 2 heaped teaspoons of bentonite clay in sort of a glass of water, that sort of size. That will make you feel a lot better. Next is to replace like the heavy creams with Greek yogurt. I know you might think, oh, that's so boring. I love my cream. It's Christmas. I want to splurge. I can't whip Greek yogurt like I can whip cream. However, Greek yogurt, if you get the really firm stuff, that could perhaps work like a whipped cream if you're doing meringues or something like that. Again, meringues are incredibly high in sugar, but it is trying to find a healthier alternative that you can use. So if you can manage without the creme fraiche or the whipped creams or the double creams, I would use Greek yogurt, or indeed, go half and half, because it's just going to have a more positive impact on your waistline. And if your waistline is important to you, just make a few little changes. It's not like you're not, if you do the 50-50 Greek yogurt and heavy cream, you're still enjoying the creaminess of the cream, but the Greek yogurt is going to make it a little bit fresher, it'll make it a little bit tartar, and you're going to be reducing the calories by quite a significant amount. Instead of going for like the really heavy duty desserts, maybe try, the Greek yogurt with some berries, with some banana chunks, with some broken up bits of dark chocolate. It is such a delicious dessert, that is. You can layer it in a little glass jar or however you want, put it in a bowl, but to have the different textures, the different flavors, the banana, the chocolate, the berries, the Greek yogurt, maybe put a little bit of cream on it if you really need that too. But that sort of dessert is going to be super healthy. It's going to fill you up really well, and it's also going to be ticking a lot of nutritional boxes. My next tip is to add movement. So if you're doing a workout program, keep up with it. I think there's something really special about starting Christmas Day and Boxing Day with a workout. It's something that I've done for years and years and years, and it just sets me up well for the rest of the day. Yes, I still have my Bucks Fizz in the morning. I do. It's Christmas time and I really want to enjoy it. But having done the workout beforehand makes that Bucks Fizz even more enjoyable. So it's not about getting rid of all the treats. It's not about being dogmatic about it. It's about doing a few little things that you can implement to just help you stay sort of this side of the overweight line rather than getting to the other side of it where you may have worked really hard to get from. So it is about just making sure that you're on track with your goals, you're still having fun, you're still enjoying your food and drink, but you're not letting all of your hard work from the previous year go to pot. My next tip is to eat plenty of protein. I talk about protein nearly every single episode because protein is so important for us as menopausal women as we go through the menopause. I'm actually currently building out a menopause symptom tracker, which helps you tie your food and your drink into your menopause symptoms, because I think you'll be surprised how much of what we eat and drink actually has either a positive or a negative impact on our menopause symptoms. Yesterday, I'm fighting a cold at the moment. I did have a headache. I did my workout, my headache completely went. About 2 hours later, I literally had a sliver of cheese. Technically, I'm not dairy intolerant. However, within maybe 20 seconds, that headache came steaming back again. And it was just like, what have I just had? Maybe it's the cheese. And I'm going to actually repeat it again today to see if it was the cheese that triggered the headache. But when you become aware of these patterns and these symptoms that suddenly occur, so much of it is down to what we eat and drink. There was one time I'd been out shopping. Normally I take a bottle of water with me. I'd forgotten. I'd been in a rush. I was coming back, and my local shop is quite a long way away. We're sort of in the middle of nowhere here. And I was in the car, and the only thing I had available to eat was some Smints. So I had a Smint, not really thinking anything of it. And within seconds, I'd got shooting pains through my thumb joints, my wrist joints, my ankles, my knees. It's just like, what on earth's going on? And I thought, maybe it's the Smint. So I left it a few days, repeated the Smint test, which I have to say I didn't really want to repeat, but I was keen to see if it was that caused the joint pain. Within seconds again, it was the Smint that had caused those shooting pains through my joints. Highly likely down to the artificial sweeteners in the Smint. So just be mindful that when you're suddenly having, like, if you suddenly have a hot flush, think, okay, what was I doing before? Are you thirsty? Because if I'm thirsty, it will trigger off a hot flush, even after all these years of me having, been way beyond sort of perimenopausal years. Am I tired? Have I just eaten something sweet? Have I eaten something spicy? Am I hungry? All of these things can have a negative impact on your menopausal symptoms. So I would really advise you to track what you're eating and drinking and your menopause symptoms, particularly if you're in the thick of perimenopause and you're getting the night sweats, you're getting the hot flushes, you're getting the mood swings, the low libido, the joint pain. Spend 2 weeks getting really granular about your symptoms and what you're eating and drinking. It's Amazing how quickly that pattern reveals itself. Another quick point, if you're eating a lot of potatoes and rice and sort of starchy stuff, if you can prepare your potatoes and your rice in advance and then refrigerate them overnight or just keep them in a cool room overnight, those starches become more resistant, which means they don't spike your blood sugars to such a degree. And finally, just remember that the festive period is about having fun, whether you're by yourself or whether you're with friends and family. And if at the end of the festive period, you would like to do a sugar detox with me, it's starting on January the 1st, which I believe is a Wednesday. I have a free group, and January is going to be detoxing, coming up with healthier alternatives, going through that detox period together. So at least you've got community when we're, if you've overdone the sugary stuff, we can all go through the sugar headaches together and set ourselves up for a healthy and successful 2025. I don't know about you, but 2024 for me has been it's been horrid. I'm so glad. I cannot wait to wave goodbye to it. It's rare I say that to a year, but this year has just been like, nope, good riddance 2024. So I'm hoping that 2025 is going to be a better one. And if you'd like to join me for the sugar detox in January, click the link in the comments box just for my free Thrive and Revive collective. That is where I host this sugar detox challenge. It is on Facebook, so you will need a Facebook account to take part in that. If you haven't got Facebook and you don't really want to be in Facebook, you can always open an anonymous account and come and join us that way. So it's not like you have to have it public. You can still come and join and do this sugar detox with us. And then in actual fact, in February, we're doing adrenal health march. We're diving into gut health. So there's lots of good stuff in there. And if you jump in sooner rather than later, you can catch all the delicious boozy desserts and also healthier options that I've been sharing in there all month of December. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you for your company. I wish you amazingly happy Christmas, good health, most importantly. Enjoy it. If your goals are to maintain a healthy weight or indeed to keep reducing, if you're doing really, really well, just use some of the tips that I've shared today and I think they will serve you well. Take good care of yourself and I'll chat with you again soon.